My name is Anarkia. I'm 26 and I'm an interactive installation artist stroke performer. Really passionate about spreading awareness and believe in the project a lot. And I think it's interesting to give a different point of view about drugs from being on the receiving end of it. And also I'd really like to get the chance to just give an opinion about alternatives to drugs. I have never taken any illegal drugs. I've had tried coffee and smoking, but not very much. Like alcohol, yeah. I tend to just drink perhaps once every couple of weeks. And my upbringing was being surrounded by people who were taking drugs. And maybe the realisation when I was about 6 or something, like, oh right, not everybody's doing this, okay. We had kind of incidences of police coming to our house and kind of raiding it, and there was bits of selling drugs as well. So this had happened a couple of times when I think when I was about 9, and that was quite an awakening for me as well. Like, I was quite terrified of it, and maybe that has influenced why I don't take drugs as well, because when you just want to watch Neighbours and you're surrounded by police, it's slightly different. Cocaine and crack. There were like many drugs being taken, but those are the ones which I felt kind of affected by. Smoking, just pot, marijuana, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. And I've seen many people using it as well to heal themselves and move away from harder drugs like heroin. And I guess I rebelled from that. That's just motivated me to avoid that and look for just natural ways of finding happiness. My upbringing was really open, and my family was very encouraging of me having an understanding of what there is. So my mum would be kind of like, these are the drugs, like, take them in the right place. If you're going to be safe, avoid these, take that kind of thing. My mum would take cocaine. She was very open and wanted to help people a lot, so she had friends staying at our house. There was a lot of lying and hiding and stories about how they were so desperate for money they would kind of jump over the next door neighbour and steal money from the granny. And I could tell the difference when somebody was on cocaine, because it was like they wasn't there, like a completely different person. I couldn't communicate, and they were very fragile looking and spaced out. And then there was also an aggressive side when they couldn't get the drugs. They'd go to extents of stealing and kind of manipulating, and a lot of dishonesty, I think, and it was a lot of trust issues from this, which I deal with kind of today, with trust in people. She's experimented a lot throughout her life and taken heroin and cocaine, LSD and ecstasy and everything. And she's been addicted to heroin before when she was younger, which she got off, but I think took a lot of time. And she's also kind of been addicted to cocaine for quite a few years, 6 years or something, and alcohol as well. So I think alcohol for me was the biggest problem with her, and just a very aggressive side of her. She's kind of not taking those now, so it's brilliant. She's in quite a good place, but it takes a while. And I think when you're a single mum, got all the stresses, things like that, these drugs can seem very easy alternative almost, as a way to kind of deal with it, escape. And there's lots of mums like this in the same situations, that need so much help, and not just kind of money from the government, but just general support from community. I did ask her when I was younger a lot, and I think at the stage, because she was addicted, she would kind of reply quite kind of aggressively, like, oh, you know, let's avoid the situation, leave me alone. I can't handle this stress, like, I'm doing a great job by myself, give me a break. And so it felt like a lot of kind of like excuses almost, in a way, and like not actually answering the question. But if I was to ask her today, like, she takes different drugs, so she has like quite a very spiritual side as well, and she kind of used throughout her life to take like LSD and mushrooms, so kind of as a way of kind of awakening herself a bit and exploring different dimensions, realms, and opening her mind, which I kind of think I quite like this side, and I think it's okay to do that. She disagrees really strongly with heroin and cocaine, and she in fact encourages lots of people to like experiment with putting like marijuana in truffles and kind of relax, and she goes around and helps people who are on heroin and crack and tries to move them away from it, like by introducing LSD and not as strong drugs. When she was drinking a lot, she made her own rules, and she banned all the shops around the area and said, don't ever sell me alcohol again, and made a promise with them, and they did that, and that's how she got off alcohol. So yeah, she made her own law, and I think, yeah, I mean, if all these drugs are illegal, then definitely as well alcohol should be, because especially like in my experience, it's the most painful to be on the receiving end, and probably, I don't know. And for their experience, I'm sure it's damaging for them. We've been around people as well who have kind of died from this, from having too much alcohol. I think it's all just a big fear of kind of being a bit like my mum. I don't really want to end up like that, and I think I built up had so many strong like negative experiences of being on the receiving end that I couldn't imagine wanting to do that to anyone else. I don't need it. I feel really kind of happy and kind of content, and I kind of get my highs from creating interactive installations and enhancing people's experiences. But I think just since starting to read more about drugs and opening myself up to people's experiences, some particular drugs I might be quite interested in exploring if I'm in the right kind of company, in the right situation. Yeah, it varies. Like, some of my friends have kind of taken no drugs, and others like taking ketamine and yeah, LSD. Yeah, I think that's kind of about it, really. We seem to be waking up a little bit and getting in touch with nature and the environment, becoming very sensitive to that, and I think that's why personally they're exploring these drugs. My friends are kind of like in a place where they're really on it, like really like grounded and know what they're doing, and they're financially stable just. So I don't think they have these issues, and they don't really take drugs that much, so it's not really a problem for them. I think they're not addicted to it, like they're just doing it to have a bit of fun now and again. And then I have other friends who kind of feel like they're kind of taking it to escape in a way. Like whenever they've got a problem, it's like, oh, and they like can't handle the stress, so they just like go out and get trashed and stuff like that, and then come back with bruises on their heads. The other situation of like my family was like more of aggressive outcomes, and I was personally affected by them. Whereas I'm not affected really by them from my friends. Like, they go out, dance, have fun. Like, they've never really been aggressive or anything towards me. So my mum, who was taking them, like, her self-esteem was really low. With my friends, they kind of got stuff going on. Like, they're living their life day to day. It's quite normal, and they're not kind of using it in a way to escape. But yeah, I think I just feel more comfortable with people who are not taking drugs, because I can kind of communicate them communicate to them on a normal level. And when I go out with people taking drugs, I feel kind of excluded as well, like I'm missing something that they're all experiencing. But still content, but yeah, I find it a bit boring as well, being on the other end, because they're just like, conversation is a bit dead sometimes. Being at the festival, this is when I kind of realised about creating experiences, is I went to Glastonbury Secret Garden and was open to all these new exciting projects, like interactive theatre groups who were exploring like performance and role-playing in interesting ways, and it kind of helped me develop this process as well, and I took it on myself. And as I was going around the festival, I was getting people to like see things in different ways, in like really imaginative, playful ways, which is really innocent. And I guess they were responding to it as well, saying, God, I've been with you for 3 days now and I haven't taken any drugs yet. That's weird. I always take drugs, and like that's really beautiful. And then they'd stay with me the whole time, and that would make me challenge it more as well. Like, how can I start to explore play and encourage people that there is a different way of getting high. Play and fantasy is a great alternative, I think, to drug taking, and is really underestimated. I think it's really being challenged a lot as a way to communicate with people. It's not just about escapism anymore, and it's not just for children. It's a way of being, and there should be lots more of it. And at the moment, really exploring how I can use it to encourage people to reconnect with nature, and I really am passionate about trying to get people to be inspired with this idea, bringing the idea of community back in, this idea of like being one with everyone and having a kind of conscious collective. Like, I think it can totally be achieved without drugs. It takes longer. I've spent a lot of time with just kind of meditating and being in my own headspace for a couple of days, and really just like stopping, really appreciating like what we have around us. I think people should open themselves up again and feel inspired by others and by their own power. Like, it's not really, yeah, power to the people kind of thing. It's not really about government power anymore. It's like getting people to stop and realise that they're the ones with the power and they can make change. I would say for people who are thinking of taking drugs, like, just be aware of people around them as well. Like, it's not just them it's affecting. Also, just be very careful with how they're taking them. Take them for like maybe exploring and having fun and stuff like that. But like, just be careful in not getting addicted, because everyone's got a beautiful life, and life is beautiful, and it's all waiting there for you. And you don't really, in my opinion, need drugs. Come and play and have fun.